This is how you know you're in a losing streak. This is when you know you've hit rock bottom. Yesterday here on the video report, I had 3 complimentary plays, and I hit 2 out of 3. I lost the game with Western Kentucky as the road dog in Baton Rouge against LSU, but won rather easily with Cincinnati against Connecticut, and also the game between Washington State and Arizona to go over the posted price in Pac-12 action. Now that game, that total selection, happened to be one of 2 plays that I was juggling yesterday morning trying to figure out which game I liked more. The total or the play that I eventually released as my best bet as I was trying for my 5th consecutive Saturday 15-dime best bet winner, and that was Miami of Florida. 7.5-point home dog against Clemson. Well, as you know, Washington State and Arizona scored a little over 900 points in that game. Meanwhile, Miami lost by about 900 points. Worst loss in school history. Of course, I'm only embellishing. It only seems that they lost by 900. In reality, it was only about 400. No, I mean, it was 58-0, but whew, I mean, there is wrong, and there is not even being in the right neighborhood as being wrong. I mean, oh my God, that was a dreadful play. Almost as bad as the play I had on Utah State against San Diego State on Friday, and probably as bad as the play I had on Thursday against Georgia Southern as the road dog against Appalachian State. All 3 of which got hammered by double digits. The only thing I can say about losing is this. If you're going to lose, get it over with quickly. I mean, it's like mercy killing. Just euthanize your selection. And that's what happened yesterday. I mean, Miami was down 3 touchdowns in the first quarter before I even got a chance to turn the game on. So, hey, over, saw my money, kissed it goodbye, and it was gone for the rest of the day. And I muttered a few of my favorite obscenities. I'm definitely taking an advance on November's quotient for obscenities at this point after the past 3 days. And you move forward because that's what you have to do. Because you have to go into what we're doing, this gambling thing that we love, with the expectation that you're going to lose sometimes. And sometimes you're going to lose a lot. And that's what gambling is all about. There are no guarantees. You know it as well as I do. I'm not telling you anything that you're not already aware of. I think that anybody thinks that they're going to win every single day. Well, I've got that bridge in Brooklyn to sell you too. And there's also that pot at the end of the rainbow waiting for you. Bottom line is you're going to have losing streaks. I think over the long haul, though, what you try to do is you try to make money consistently. You never get yourself in that financial abyss from which there is no escape because you never bet more than you can afford to lose. That's why plays are rated. That's why there's money management systems. You never should put yourself, I should say, in a position where you're constantly looking to bail out, trying to force a play to get your money back. And that's why I say it's kind of perverse in its philosophy, but you never bet more than you can afford to lose. With all that being said, hey, I did hit 2 out of the 3 free plays yesterday. And I've got 2 more free selections coming your way in just a moment. It's not a great NFL card as far as I'm concerned. First of all, the NFL ruined it by having just 2 mid-afternoon kickoffs because they put that ridiculous game in London once again today. You know, I was in London a couple of years ago when they announced these series of games with Jacksonville and all these teams going overseas and stuff. And at the time, I'm reading all the different London newspapers. And I mean, you know, it's like a story this big in the sports pages because nobody cared. Nobody cared. They were more concerned with soccer. I mean, that's all they care about. They're more concerned with the girlfriends of the soccer players. That's all they care about. The NFL, people will show up. It'll get, a decent fan base and stuff. But seriously, they don't really give a damn. And neither do I, because who the hell needs a game starting at this hour in the morning if you happen to be on the East Coast, 9:30 in the morning? And Buffalo and Jacksonville, oh man, geez. If I'm living in Wales, if I'm living in Liverpool, if I'm living in London, Manchester, whatever, I'm just going to have to hop the train and come into that game, boy. But because of that, we only have the 2 mid-afternoon games. Oakland at San Diego. Gee, aren't you excited about that one? And also the Dallas Giants game. Gee, another exciting game. Here's the deal, guys. Half-price play of the day is going to be Jeff Benton, who has his highest-rated play of the season, 150-dime play on the Jets and the Patriots. That's one of the free plays I'm going to give you here in just a moment. Keep in mind, last Sunday, he had a 75-dime play with Carolina with the road upset of Seattle, and this play is twice as strong. It's twice as strong as yesterday's 75-dime winner with Bowling Green, kind of easy, 48-0 over Kent State. You get it for half price by using coupon code HALF. Meanwhile, Anthony Redd won yet again yesterday. 3rd time ever in his career, and he joined this site March of 2009. Had a 150-dime play in football, and he cashed in easily with his college dog of the year with Tennessee, getting 15, only losing 19-14 at Alabama. Today, he's going for winning day number 11 out of 12 a stretch the past 11 days where $10 bettors have made over $6,900 with his 100-dime winner, number 3 in a row, his Sunday night game of the year, the Eagles and Panthers. I'll give you my thoughts on that game in just a second. Had a 100-dime winner last week on the Bears plus the 3.5 at Detroit. Had his 100-dime college dog of the year 2 Fridays ago. Remember, Utah State was an 8.5-point home dog, and they hammered Boise State 52-26. You got that for half price. It's bigger than his 80-dime winner that you got at a huge discount on Thursday night with Temple outright at East Carolina. And 100-dime winner number 3 in a row, you save $75 by using coupon code REDD, R-E-D-D. And finally, kind of an interesting situation yesterday, and it comes into play when I often talk about how games are graded here at the site. So Steve Buden's Cali Cartel, they had a 5-0 sweep last weekend, okay, in college football and NFL combined. They had their first play this week yesterday, and it was a 50-dime release on Stanford last night against Washington. Well, when Steve put his site live and released the play, it was a little after 4 o'clock Eastern time in the morning, and at that time, Stanford was a 17-point favorite. Well, by 10:30 Eastern time in the morning, Stanford was already down to 16. That game eventually plummeted from 14 and a half, that range. God knows why. I don't know. But so Stanford naturally wins 31-14, 17-point margin. So consequently, we count that as a push here at the site. Do I think 99% of you won with that play? Absolutely. But again, if anybody happened to come to the site between 4 o'clock and 10 a.m., which really is unlikely, I think, and get the play, hey, bottom line, they push. So everybody pushes, and that's how it goes. But either way, 5-0-1 over the past 2 weeks in college and pro. And today, 100-dime NFL winner number 3 in a row, coming off the Eagles on Monday night, which was a half-price play of the day. Coming off last Sunday's winner was San Francisco, the 2-point home dog, winning against Baltimore outright. Today, 100-dime max wager number 3 in a row, revenge game of the year. It goes at 1 o'clock Eastern time. It is not on the Jets-Patriots game. That much I can tell you. You can save $65 by using coupon code CALI for the Cali Cartel, C-A-L-I, C-A-L-I, and it's twice as strong as their 50-dime winner last year in the Super Bowl on the Patriots. So let's talk about the complimentary plays here. And listen, I'll start with the marquee game, obviously, today on the Patriots and the Jets. I'm going to 119-85 roll with the complimentary plays over the past 104 days. I think this is an interesting one because, you know, you got a 7.5-point line, so there's not even a need to buy up the half point here. If it was 7, I would definitely tell you to do so because I think you've got to grab the points with the Jets. The Patriots have gotten off to a great start. We all know that. But this is a second straight big game for them. I mean, they got the job done last week in Indianapolis. They didn't play particularly well at Dallas the week prior. And in that Dallas game, I think one of the only flaws that I see so far in the Patriots, at least here in the early part of the season, was exposed. And that's their offensive line. It is a little shaky. I think Brady was sacked 5 times in that game. And the Colts got a hell of a lot of pressure on them last week as well. And now you've got a Jets defense that is tough as nails, that's going to come charging at Brady, that can bottle up the run. So your question that has to be asked here, and one that I asked myself when I relegated this play from being a potential best bet situation to free pick status, the flaw that I found here in the Jets is, do I want to have my money on Ryan Fitzpatrick? Now, I know that he's been playing great this season. I know he's very comfortable playing in Chan Gailey's offensive system as he did once before in his career. But do I want to have my money on Ryan Fitzpatrick? Listen, the Jets are going to run the ball. That means Fitzpatrick can be more of a game manager. You know what the Patriots are going to do, okay? You got a Patriots team that wants to throw the ball, and I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball effectively today against this Jets front 7. And then you look at the secondary. Well, there you got Brady's ex-teammate, Darrelle Revis back there, one of the best secondaries in football. That's going to be troublesome, I think, for Brady. So the Jets have covered 4 straight, 5 of the last 6 in the series. They held Washington to 14 first downs and 225 total yards in last week's 2-touchdown win, a game that they actually trailed at halftime. So I'm going to go with the Jets plus the 7.5 points in that game. Now, speaking of the Redskins, of course, you know, it's a week-to-week soap opera with them. You know, is Jay Gruden soon to be fired? Is Kirk Cousins the answer at quarterback? Who the hell knows? All we know is this. The Jets lost last week against the Jets. Their second straight loss. They've won their last 2 home games. Should have been 3-0 at home if not for blowing a 10-0 lead against Miami in their season opener, losing that game. But they beat the Rams and the Eagles in the last game, coming off a 34-20 loss, as I just noted, at New York. This is a revenge situation for the Redskins, who were a home favorite last year when Tampa came to town, laying a touchdown, and the Buccaneers beat them 27-7. Now, the Buccaneers are coming off a win against the Jaguars prior to their bye week. I look at this Tampa Bay team and I see some young talent. I see a team that hasn't learned how to win at home, let alone win on the road with regularity against better than average teams. I think Washington is an average team here. And I know that the Buccaneers, they have the second worst, or actually they have the worst scoring defense in the league. They give up 29.6 yards a game. 29.6 points a game. They've given up 31 and 37 in their last 2 games. If you look at the overall NFL team standings, you'll see the Buccaneers, in a number of categories, against the pass, against the run, they're not bad. But then you get to that bottom column, which is all that matters, the one column that matters the most, points allowed per game, 29.6. How can you bet this team is a road dog? I just don't see it. Washington, of course, has some injuries. Deshaun Jackson's still out. Both their starting corners, Chris Culliver and D'Angelo Hall, are still out. But, their replacements have played very well. And their replacements have faced some pretty damn good wide receivers, Brandon Marshall and Eric Decker, for example, last week. So even though Tampa Bay has a good core of receivers, I think Washington can get the job done here today. I think key for the Redskins in this contest is going to be getting the ground game started again with Alfred Morris and Matt Jones. Now, Jones missed last week's game because of a toe injury. The Redskins' ground game has only accounted for like 85 total yards in the past couple of games. They've got to be able to run the ball against Tampa. At the same time, the Redskins' defense has got to tighten up against the run because they've allowed 397 rushing yards in the past 2 games. That's 85 more than they allowed in the first 4 games this season. And of course, you've got Doug Martin, who looks rejuvenated after a couple of off years with the Bucs, with 229 yards rushing in the past 2 games. The other factor that you have to always worry about with Washington is Kirk Cousins. 4 interceptions the past 2 games, 8 on the season. But still, I think Washington is the way to go. I would go ahead and lay the 3 points. And if it was anywhere around 3, 3.5, 4, I would go ahead and buy the half point down on the Redskins. Which brings you to the Sunday night game. Let me just preface my statement about this game saying this. I've had 3 plays involving the Eagles this year, and I've lost all 3, okay? And that's usually very bizarre. That's definitely the exception, not the rule. Obviously, it's my hometown team. I grew up following them. It's the team that I follow the most over the years. I generally do well. This team is damn hard to get a feel for what's going on a week-to-week basis. They're so inconsistent, so injury-riddled. Coming into today's game, the rookie wide receiver, Aguilar, out of USC, he's going to miss his 2nd straight game. Riley Cooper, who's not a great wide receiver, but is about their only deep threat, he's been nagged by an injury all week. Their inside linebacker core has just been decimated by injuries. And you got Sam Bradford, who, as you saw on Monday night, yes, the Eagles beat the Giants 27-7, but it wasn't because of anything Bradford did. It's because of the defense. The performance against Eli Manning, battling up and coming up with all the turnovers. Bradford, 9 interceptions so far on the season and against 9 touchdown passes. And what's really been a killer is that 3 of those 9 picks have come in the red zone. Now, last year, the Eagles, a totally different team, granted, at home, just took Carolina out for lunch. I mean, they devoured them. 45-21 is a 7-point favorite back at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia back on November 10th. It was a game where the Panthers were in the throes of a 6-game losing streak. It was a game where Cam Newton, his mobility was limited because of an ankle injury. Well, obviously, Carolina's undefeated this year. Since that 6-game losing streak ended, they've won 10 out of 11 straight up, going 7-3-1 against the spread. They just rallied for that big win at Seattle last week. Now, Carolina obviously has revenge on its mind. Cam Newton's off to a very good start. They have a very good defense. But here's the question I have to ask for you in this game, and one I ask myself. Is Carolina going to be ready for this game? Because you go to Seattle and you win against the Seahawks and you rally to win. You come home. I know you have revenge on your mind, but it's not like the Eagles are chopped liver. They're inconsistent. I didn't say they weren't a talented team. Are you going to be able to get up again for a game of this magnitude against a team that can, at times, look explosive offensively? You just don't know what you're going to get from either team here tonight. So I lean a little toward Carolina. Wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles won the game outright, though. I mean, that's how tough of a game. But I had handicapped the contest. I figured I'd pass it along to you anyway. That'll do it, guys. Your official free plays today are going to be the Jets as the road dog and Washington and Kirk Cousins, God help us all, as the home favorite. Good luck, everybody. I'll catch you again tomorrow when we do this one more time for your Monday night game.